What is up, guys? It is Carly here bringing you your Tuesday review on Body Bags, and today I'm going to be talking about a film that I got in Horror Pack a few months back, and that is Harvest of Fear from the year 2004. Now this movie came in this double feature here called the Total Terror double feature, where you get A Brush with Death as well, which I will just go ahead and say that was one of the worst movies I've ever seen. I did a brief review of it on the Cinema Attack podcast back when I guested on it. I forget which episode that was, but yeah, if you want to go back through Cinema Attack's work and find that review, you're welcome to. But yeah, it was pretty bad. But we're here to talk about Harvest of Fear today, and I'm just going to read the plot off the back here. It says, the Harvest Festival in Devil's Lake is the setting for a string of murders that mimic those from 20 years ago. A group of college girls finds themselves involved in the investigation. With the killer's body count rising, the students race to find the killer before he finds them. So that is the story there. I will say it's a pretty basic, generic storyline as my phone goes off. Sorry, guys. But yeah, pretty generic story. It's been done many times. It's just a very basic slasher film, but I also will say, going into it, I was actually pretty surprised by what I saw, because I assumed this was going to be just as bad as the other one you get here, just because they're in a double pack together. So I was not expecting much going into it. The only reason I chose to do a review on it on this channel was because I figured it would be pretty obscure and no one would really have heard of it, and it was just a movie in my collection that I hadn't checked out yet. So yeah, once again, going into it, I was actually pretty surprised. The pacing was pretty well done. It was pretty well paced, and the other movie you get here is not well paced at all. It is very boring, and with this one, I did not find that I was bored or anything like that. The acting and the overall quality of the film is pretty, pretty mediocre, I would say, pretty amateurish. The acting's not too good. I would say the male characters do a better job than the female characters in this film, and the way it's shot is just very cheap looking. You could tell you're watching a low budget film, which is pretty much to be expected with movies like this. The killer in this movie, I will say, had a pretty cool look to him. I believe he's wearing a mask, and you could see him there on the cover a little bit, but I thought he had a pretty cool look, and he was actually kind of scary looking, so I did like that about it. And I like the setting as well. It had kind of that small town setting to it, that small town feel, so I enjoyed that as well. Overall, the kills are pretty basic, and the gore and blood you get is pretty cheap looking, so overall, it's just kind of a basic slasher film. There's really not much to say on it, but if you're into slasher movies, I would say maybe check it out if you like the lower budget, lower quality films. And like I said, the killer in it kind of makes it worth checking out in itself, because he's not too bad looking. So not the best movie in the world, but I was surprised by it, that I actually could pay attention to it and find some entertainment value to it. So I did give it a 4 out of 10, which doesn't sound great, but it's better than what I gave this other movie, which I believe was like a 2. So I would say check it out if you do like slashers and you don't really mind the quality all that much, but if not, I would say give it a pass. So yeah, Harvest of Fear 2004, 4 out of 10. Thank you guys for joining me for this Tuesday review, and as always, I will see you next week.